Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It opens in 1913, with the American Civil War hero and author Ambrose Bierce standing before a firing line in the desert. He's executed by Pancho Villa's revolutionaries, but the moment they open fire, Ambrose wakes up having just been having a nightmare. His gun was almost stolen by the ballsy orphan Catherine, who's about to draw her own before being scared off. Ambrose says that he's come to Mexico to join Pancho Villa's army and refuses to listen to the local bartender who warns him that people go missing around these parts. He prefers to accompany the newly married John and his wife Mary on a stagecoach to Mexico, where the Christians are delivering Bibles. The gallows are prepared and the local kids all wear their creepy masks to attend today's execution of famous outlaw Johnny Madrid. As he's brought to the noose, the hangman and local gang's leader Mauricio takes pleasure in the pain he provides. He gives the outlaw a few lashes with his cat of nine tails first, then when noticing that his disobedient daughter Esmeralda's in the crowd, he has her dragged on stage to receive the same. As Johnny's put in his noose and the trapdoor activated, a perched Catherine shoots through the rope, hitting an audience member and sending the rest scattering for cover. The fugitive then makes his escape using a hidden blade in the nose of his boot and a pistol tossed to him by the helpful stranger. He steals one of the nearby horses and swipes the maiden Esmeralda away from her abusive father, who says that he'd rather see her dead than be free, and goes on the hunt for her with his gang. Ambrose departs in the coach, where he divulges to the Newlies that he's transporting something extraordinary valuable to Pancho, and also continues to get increasingly more drunk throughout the film from here on out. Meanwhile, Johnny and Esmeralda return to the posse's hideout, and learn from Joaquin that they didn't rescue him because one of the other members has taken leadership of the gang. Joaquin's sent to fetch him, while Johnny tells Esmeralda that they should go their separate ways now that she's free from her father. She refuses and offers to let the outlaw whip her himself, since she's never known anything else, but he just treats her lashes with some aloe vera instead. When his posse returns with their new leader, Johnny instantly shoots him dead and reclaims his position at the top of the food chain. Soon the gang catches Catherine spying on them and learns that she wants to become Johnny's apprentice as an outlaw. She tells him about Ambrose having an item of unknown value on the stagecoach, which he's apparently been telling everyone about. While the writer suggests to Mary that John's only wed her for the large inheritance she received, the coach is hit by the posse, who blindly hopes that whatever the old man has is worth it. They're defended well by the deaf driver, who keeps his eyes on the road, and blind protection riding shotgun, who uses his hearing to locate the outlaws trying to board the stagecoach. Eventually both are killed, allowing Joaquin to take the reins, but he's shot in the ear by Ambrose, who has the gun wrestled from his hands by the couple. All the gang find on the coach are Mary's wedding dress, which they take to sell for 50 pesos, and a manuscript for the author's new book. Johnny's angry that there's no gold like implied and demands to know from Ambrose what's the valuable item that he's delivering. The crazy drunk says that it's himself, as he intends to fight for the revolution, which completely changes the outlaw's opinion of him. He's a sympathizer and prevents Joaquin from getting his revenge, saying that Ambrose is an honorable man for what he's doing. The posse return to their hideout, but while riding through the desert, Catherine gives her impression that Johnny's a cold-hearted killer. Offended by the perception of him, the gang take her to a cemetery, where Johnny makes her stand on a grave with a noose around her neck. Esmeralda tries to stop him by saying that Catherine's just a kid, but Johnny says she's an outlaw now and shoots the headstone hanging her. Sickened at the sight, as it's a reminder of her father, Esmeralda rides into the desert, so Johnny goes after her while leaving the kid dangling. His boys continue without him, while Johnny catches up to Esmeralda and calms her down with the promise that he'll try to keep a leash on it. At the crash site, Ambrose and the Christians begin arguing, leading to John striking the drunk man to the ground and getting him taken care of by Mary. The fake tries to drive the stagecoach but gets it stuck in the sand, and they need to walk through the desert to get back. They eventually stumble across a seemingly abandoned bar in the center of the dunes called La Tatia del Diablo, and is open dusk till dawn. It translates to the devil's nipple, but Ambrose tells the religious couple that it means welcome home, wayward pilgrims, otherwise they'd never enter. Inside they find the place empty, when suddenly the bartender Razor Charlie appears to check the guests in for the night, while Ambrose remains at the bar with the friendly tender and continues his buzz. After getting refused their order of milk and having to settle for the next closest thing of tequila, the owner, Lady Quixtla, glides into the room to show their new guest to their suite. It's in the back of an unsavory hotel, and Quixtla tells the pair that she'll let them know when their dinner's ready, as it's going to be late. The Newlies suddenly get attacked by a bat that John swats away before getting frustrated at his wife after he's still not getting any nookie a week into their marriage. He goes looking for entertainment elsewhere, finding it in the bedroom of the host, and afterwards wanders down to the bar to order tequila, feeling like a new man. In the meantime, other guests arrive, including salesman Ezra, who's heading to the US and is unable to afford a drink, so he gets sponsored by Ambrose. He's a fan of the Civil War veteran who wrote one of the 100 greatest masterpieces of American literature called The Devil's Dictionary. Soon Johnny and Esmeralda come across the bar which the outlaw says he's never seen in the 100 times that he's crossed these lands. While the valet Nano takes the horses to the stables, Esmeralda makes her way inside where Quixtla lovingly licks the blood off her wounds. The rest of Johnny's gang arrive with Mary's wedding dress that she recognizes before being captured by Joaquin. The moment John sees one of the posse, he's allowed by Charlie to beat the crap out of him as the vampire's just happy to see blood. When Joaquin tells him to release his friend or else he kills Mary, John doesn't care, sticking a knife straight through the outlaw's face and charges at the next. Johnny fugitive goes to check on the horses and finds Nano chowing down on them, so he shoots the vampire and goes inside searching for Esmeralda. He's unable to find her until Ambrose directs him to the vampire queen's chambers where she's pampering the guest. Quixtla refuses to let them leave, so Johnny puts a bullet in her brain, sending green spraying out, and attempts to escape. But he's too late as Nano returns and the Hangman's gang arrives. They found Catherine swinging from her neck just in time to save her life and used her to track down Johnny's heading. A shootout ensues where the Newlies just take cover and many men fall, including Ambrose, but only from being so drunk. The Hangman's the only one who knows that the establishment is run by a group of vampires, as he's previously had a run-in with Quixtla. She reveals that Esmeralda's really her long-lost daughter as the father fills her full of bullets, but the vampires lock the exit. All of the dancers also reveal themselves to be vampires and attack the patrons, killing off the Hangman's gang and Johnny's posse. Ezra gets overcome by vampire women, as all the while the club band somehow play heavy metal music from their mariachi instruments. Mauricio eventually rips Nano's head off with his whip, and when a snake lady sprouts from it, he destroys it with his revolver. For some reason, when John sees Joaquin about to be killed, he saves him just to do the job himself, but loses the fight. Because of this, he's unable to save Mary as she's seduced by the vampire Ezra into dancing with him in a desaturated slow-motion scene. He then bites her as Catherine escapes her binds with a fallen candle and locates an escape route into the dungeons. Johnny, Ambrose, Catherine, John, Esmeralda, Joaquin and Mauricio all manage to make it in and seal the door behind them. They agree to work together to find a way out, but Johnny tells Mauricio to watch his back while Catherine says the same to her own Hangman. The vampires eventually break the door down and chase the group into the catacombs while transforming into their bat forms. The survivors seal themselves behind a cage when Mary rises as a vampire and begins taunting John for only marrying her for her money. She unleashes tentacles from her body at her husband, but Mauricio restrains them, allowing Johnny to slice them off. John's forced to kill Mary, who bursts into flames upon death, and the patrons escape deeper into the underground maze. They come across a fork and decide to split up into two groups to find the exit quicker, but Joaquin's been bitten. He quickly transforms into a vampire and bites John, requiring Johnny to put his best friend down with the pointy end of his torch. Knowing that he's doomed, John begins praying while the outlaw stakes the missionary before he even transforms. Meanwhile, when Ambrose hears Catherine's name, he recalls the papers saying that she killed her entire family and is a wanted fugitive. She admits that it's true, but only did it because her parents were starving and shot them to put them out of their misery. The group go in a complete circle before arguing and ending up right back inside the bar where Quixtla and the vampires ambush them. She explains to Esmeralda that she's her half-vampire daughter and resurrects her undead grandmother for a big family reunion. The rest of the group are hung by their feet in preparation to be slaughtered, while Esmeralda's put through a ceremony where her true name's revealed to be Santánico Pandemonium. This is why the Hangman was so brutal towards her, so that she would be too afraid to ever leave home and be converted by her mother. Meanwhile, Johnny manages to use his boot knife to break free from his bonds and free the others before the vampire horde attack. With their only weapons being broken furniture, Catherine's quickly killed in the fight, while Ezra has his throat slit and gets staked by Johnny. The ritual fully transforms Esmeralda into the vampire princess when she sacrifices her grandmother and a swarm of bats spill out of her stomach. Her first wicked act as the vampire Santánico's to seduce her own father, then bite and turn him into a vampire. With only Johnny and the not yet sober Ambrose left alive, they attempt to escape, but the entrance is still sealed, trapping them inside with the approaching vampires. Before he can fully transform, the Hangman opens the spiked entrance, allowing the pair to escape, and impales Quixtla on it as it closes. The morning sunlight sets the queen on fire as the regretful Esmeralda screams not to leave her, but she's already lost. The doors seal her inside as Johnny looks away sad, and decides to join the crazy old man on his journey to meet Pancho Villa. As they ride away, the camera zooms out to reveal the Mayan temple hidden beneath the bar, that'll remain the vampire's home for the next 100 years as Santánico seduces more guests into staying forever. And the movie ends.